Hello, my name is Mark, and welcome all you super geniuses out there. Thank you for watching. This video lecture is going to be about how to find the equation of the line, but in particular, we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular. Okay, so how do you find parallel lines? So first let's talk about parallel lines. Okay, parallel lines have equal slopes. Okay, so in other words, if you want to find a line that's parallel to another line, first thing you got to do is find the slope and just know that both of the slopes will be equal. So like on this first one here, we want to find a line that goes through the point 7, 2 and is parallel to this line here. Well, if I know it's parallel to this line, I know that the slope of this line, okay, will be equal to the slope of this line. In other words, the slope of the first line will be equal to the slope of the second. So how do I figure out what the slope of this line is? How do I figure out what the slope of the second line is? First, let's put it in slope formula. In other words, put it in slope formula, solve for y. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3x from both sides. Okay. That'll leave me with negative y is equal to negative 3x plus 8. And then next I'm going to do what? I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1 so this y becomes positive. Okay. And so now we can easily see that the slope of this line is what? The slope of this line is 3. Okay. And we know when lines are parallel, Okay, so the slope of this line is 3. Well, we know when lines are parallel, that the slope of this line will be equal to the slope of this line. So I can take this negative 3 and figure out what this line here is by using what? By using that special formula called point slope. And your point slope formula looks like this. Y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. Well, we know what m is. We just found it. M is 3. So I can replace that. Okay. And then I can use the 2 points that they gave us. Excuse me, not the 2 points, but the 2 coordinates that give us a point that they gave us to plug in for y1 and x1. So for 2, I'm going to plug in y1, and then for x1, I'm going to plug in a 7. Okay, and then just isolate the y. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So 3 times x minus 7 is what? 3x minus 21. And then what's the next thing I need to do? Add 2 to both sides. Oops, forgot my equal sign. Now add 2 to both sides. So you add 2 to both sides, what do you get? So negative 21 plus 2 is a negative 19. Okay, so y is equal to 3x minus 19. Notice how this slope is equal to that slope. Well, they're supposed to be, because remember, parallel lines have equal slopes. Okay, now let's talk about perpendicular lines. What's the property of perpendicular lines? Okay. So I haven't wrote up here, but I'll write up here. Now, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocals. Okay. So perpendicular lines have negative reciprocals. So let's just look at an example and apply. So let's say if they say through 2 comma negative 7, and then perpendicular to 5x plus 2y is equal to 18. Okay, so that's supposed to be a 5 there. And this little symbol right here means perpendicular. Okay, well, the first thing we got to do is we got to figure out what the slope of this is. So what is the slope of this? So to find the slope of this line here, we need to solve for y. Okay, so I subtract 5x from both sides, and so I'm left with 2y is equal to 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 18. And then what do you need to do next to get y by itself? Divide everything by 2. Okay. Divide everything by 2, and what do you get? You come up with y is equal to negative 5/2 plus 9. Okay. So here is the first slope. Okay. But to find the slope of this line, I need what? The negative reciprocal. What is the negative reciprocal? So first, let's just find the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of negative 5 over 2? Negative 2 over 5. And then just negate the sign, or change the sign. So change the sign to negative 2 over 5. What do you get? Positive 2 over 5. Okay, so the slope of this line will be positive 2 over 5. And then I can just use that same formula I've been using so far, which is what? Your point slope formula. Y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. Okay, plug in for your m. We already have the points. We already have the point 2 comma 7. So for the x, I'm going to put in. Excuse me. For the x1, I'm going to put in a 2. For the y1, I'm going to put in a negative 7. Now I'm going to use parentheses just so I don't lose that negative there. Okay. Now distribute. Okay, what happens here when we have this double negative? Oops, excuse me. What happens here when we have a double negative? That becomes plus positive. Add a line, change the sign. So that becomes y plus 7 is equal to, okay, distribute this 2/5. So 2/5 times x minus 2. So it becomes 2/5 x minus 4 over 5. And then lastly, we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. Okay. So before we subtract 7, we have to do what? We have to convert that to a fraction with 5 in the bottom. So it's 7 written as a fraction with 5 in the bottom. It is what? Negative 35 over 5. So how come it's negative 35 over 5? Well, what's 35 divided by 5? 7. So it's the same thing. And we needed 5, so we can add these two together. So negative 4 plus negative 35, what does that give you? Negative 39. Negative 39 over 5. Okay. So in other words, the equation of the line that is perpendicular to the original line and goes through the point 2 comma 7, 2 comma negative 7, is 2/5 x minus 39 over 5. Okay, so this completes my video lecture about perpendicular and parallel lines. You can look me online, www.supergenius99.com, and thank you for watching.